Hello, everybody. I had like a little free. I was thinking about that visualization from that those guys for the M42, or they're just like gliding through the nebulosity and passing through all those stars. I imagine the guys that did it. I mean, everything had to be, you know, real as they could make it. So, spectacular visualization. We see more of those all the time. So. Um, We've got a number of people on already. And let's see, I'm kind of seeing a run on of comments from when Fiorella Terenzi was on our show on Saturday. Somebody said lots of gibberish and nonsense. Go back to Pluto where you came from. That wasn't very nice. That
No.
was not very nice. I'd like to see him go head to head with
Yeah.
Fiorella in astrophysics. She would um, certainly give him a run for his money. Anyhow, but Kevin Taylor's on. He says hello. Richard Grace, howdy. James, the astrophotographer. You and I talked earlier today by phone. It was nice to say hello and good to see you here. Um, Wolfgang, good evening. Greetings from Germany. Thank you. Wade Prunty says hello. Wolfgang wants to start with a question. He wants to know how to use the markings inside the pole finder for the IXS 100. Okay. There are instructions on that. I don't know if they're up on our website. Can you see if they are, Jerry?
Yeah, I think so. That polar finder is pretty standard layout in terms of the way you use those setting circles on the polar finder. I'll see if I can find. Let me look real quick and see if I can find the instructions on it. Of course, my daughter decides to come in when I'm broadcasting and get the dogs barking.
Oh, that's cool. She likes hanging out at NASA
Yeah.
on the mission control.
Mm-hmm. That's
Apparently,
right.
the dog does too. Mr. Thumb 30 says hello, everybody. Got some good pics of M81 last weekend. That's awesome. That's awesome. Hopefully, you posted them on our on the OpenGOTO community. We can check them out. Dave Connolly, sorry I missed the last few shows. Strange thing happened. The clouds went away, and I actually got some observation done. Wow,
Who
awesome.
was that again? Who said that?
Dave Connolly.
Oh, Dave Connolly. Yeah,
Mm.
I've got some. We're going to be talking about Dave Cherry's
Oh, right.
image that he's been working on too in a little bit.
That's
And
right.
he got some pictures recently also.
Yes, that's right. So, okay. And so you wanted to once you find this, one of the things we're going to talk about is ExploreStars and the Ephemeris data that's in there, and I guess
Right.
equations and all. So,
Right.
and
Exactly.
you wrote that apparently.
Yeah, I wrote and it's based on. I'll share where the source material I got for that, the equations for that. I basically took this source calculation and turned it into the program that we used in the ExploreStars app. So I found it. Let me see here. I found the LXD75 manual, which is basically what the XS2 mount is. It's not the right one. I know they have the setting circles or the setting the home position with that. Let's see here. I'll be able to. I'm going to make sure it's in this link that I have here. Got to look through the manual. But yeah, so the ephemeris calculation basically is used to calculate the position of solar system objects, mainly the planets and minor planets.
Mm-hmm.
There's I'm not sure how many people are familiar with the math behind these calculations, but it's a big kind of like a polynomial where you have a lot of terms and you compensate for perturbations of other objects and all kinds of things like that. Basically a big long math
So, so,
equation.
so what things are basically considered in coming up with an equation for ephemeris?
So the things that are considered, there's basically the elements of the orbit, okay,
Sure.
um, and it's similar to the three line elements in a satellite around the Earth, but there are five elements that make up the orbital parameters for the planet. And so you take those parameters, and there's a calculation, a base calculation for position, and then you take there's some other corrections for that, which are these perturbation corrections. So when the planets pass by each other, like especially Jupiter, Jupiter pulls the hardest, and apart from the Sun, Jupiter is the largest planet, so it's got the most influence on planets like Mars and probably the Earth too. But I'm not sure how much our calculation takes that into account. But there's a few, and then the outer planets, they affect each other also. So we take those into account in the calculation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't guess I'm looking at this just to change subject real quick, I'm looking through this manual trying to find the
Well,
alignment.
you talk about the ephemeris, and I'll look through the.
Yeah, let me bring up my, what did I do with that? Let me bring up share my screen.
Sure.
And I'm probably going to switch pages here.
Here you go.
Let me switch pages to the alignment.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to talk about with the ephemeris accuracy was Rodrigo Zalata from Chile just wrote me last week about some of his customers were having problems with centering with slewing to Jupiter and Saturn after they had done a 3-star alignment on the ExploreStars, and they were several degrees off when they went to Jupiter or Saturn. And so we had this question come up before a few years ago whether the ephemeris was accurate, basically. And so I went back through and did a check, did a check against some standards, and the two standards I used were a website called ephemeris.com. Let me bring that up. That's a very good website if you ever want to know where things are located in the sky. This is a great place to go. And it gives you the right ascension and declination of all the planets and a few of the minor planets. Actually, the dwarf planets, Pluto, Chiron, Quaoar, Sedna. So this is one of the places I came to compare what ExploreStars was giving me compared, and also I used the program that I'm always using, our planetarium program called Carte de Ciel.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there. Let me go back. And this is the result. Okay. This is the result of the comparison. And it turns out that ExploreStars is pretty good. The equations I used are not perfect. They're the quick and dirty type of calculation. They don't take every term into account, but they do take quite a bit of things into account, and they're within, a couple of arc minutes for the most part, 2 or 3 arc minutes. The worst case is the moon is a quarter of a degree.
Oh yeah,
different.
the moon is a because it just moves so fast.
Yeah, it moves fast. I
It's a
mean,
it's a fairly
the
rigorous
accuracy is right,
calculation, because you're having to do it all the time.
right. And then Pluto, for some reason, Pluto has got quite a bit of error. I'm not sure why that is, but if you look at that, I may go back and revisit that, see why Pluto's numbers are really that far off. But in terms of the other planets, look at you can see Jupiter, which is what Carlos had a question that his customers were having a hard time going to Jupiter. You can see it's very close,
Mm-hmm.
within, a couple of arc minutes.
Ron
Same thing.
Delvaux asks, he says, do these parameters need to be updated ever so often? Question mark.
Well, that's what we're saying. So the calculation I'm doing, these the parameters that I'm using for the planets and these perturbations are good for hundreds of years. So no, there's no
But
need to update it.
it's not a table that you're using, a
No,
lookup
no,
table. It is a actual real calculation.
it's a calculation. That's right. I thought I had the page up here. I can find the page and post it on the. I'll get you to post it on the maybe on the link it on the video somehow.
Which video
But
talking about?
well, I'm just thinking. Actually, let me real quick. If you give me a second, I can.
Okay,
Thought
and
I
I can
had.
answer. I'll answer the question about the polar finder. Okay,
Okay.
so the way that the polar finder works on the IXS 100, you would make the adjustments so you get the cone angle between the finder and the mount aligned such that when you spin it in right ascension, looking at Polaris, for example, at 90 degrees, things should just spin in the field, okay? And that way you know that you're really aimed at 90 degrees. Then what you do, is you turn on the illuminator so you can see the pattern of stars, and you're going to see there's the Big Dipper. You're going to see where it's aiming at the North Star, and you're going to see Cassiopeia. What you do is you release the lock off of your right ascension, the right ascension clutch. It's not really a lock; it's a clutch, and you turn it. You turn it so that all the stars start to match up as close as possible. Then what you do is you make adjustments in azimuth and altitude until all the stars fit into those constellations. So it's pretty easy to do. You lock it up. Now you're at the correct offset for Polaris, and that should be it.
I see. So this is that section of code that's the ephemeris
Ah,
calculation that I wrote. Okay.
now Ron Delvaux says parameter. So parameters embedded in my LX200 for 20 years ago are still good? Question mark. Ron, the initial, of course, we didn't write LX200 code, but I was there when they did. And the original LX200, not the AutoStar version, but the original LX200 used a table. Okay, and that I can't remember the expiration of that. It might have been 2050, could be, okay, or it might have been Epic 2000.
Uh-huh.
So that's or set for the year 2000. But I think it was 2050 that the table would run out on the old original LX200, which had just a few hundred objects in it. By the time we got to AutoStar, we were running a real ephemeris calculation, and it should be good.
Right. So this is the page. Let me. I'm gonna send it to the chat or in the Skype window here,
Okay.
and then
Let me grab
you
it.
can post it.
Sure. It says
Uh,
Jerry is typing. Okay. Let's see. Copy link. Let's put it over here.
and that's the page I'm showing right now here up on the
Okay,
screen.
there we go.
But the code, I also brought up the code that I wrote here, which I share in these SDK. If anybody's interested in what these calculations look like, come on. This is what the code looks like. Okay.
Okay.
These are all the different orbital elements. Okay. You may have heard these terms: obliquity, ecliptic, ascending node, uh, ecliptic declination, eccentricity, those types of things. Okay.
Yeah, I dated all those girls.
Yeah. Eccentricity. You like her? She's a little odd.
Obliquity.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
So you can see here, this is an example of what the different parameters look like. Okay. And then let me scroll up. I know
Oh
I'm going
yeah.
fast here. There's a bunch of stuff involved with doing the. So here's an example calculation here.
Chris, Richard Grace is saying my audio is about 7 decibels down from Jerry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let me see. Maybe I'm just too far away from it. How's that sound, folks? Okay.
Anyway, I just wanted to bring up about the ephemeris is good to a few hundred years. Okay, it says um, there's up to 2 arc minutes of error, and 1,000 years from now. For the moon, the error will be larger, 7 arc minutes error. is what he says in the page. But these elements, there's not going to be any changes to the ephemeris. This is the planet position moves around compared to what the true position is, and that's the way it works with the equations. But if you want, I think this is the ephemeris.com. They probably talk about what their source of their calculations are. It's probably JPL. I know JPL provides yeah, that's right. Planet and moon positions are from NASA JPL ephemeris files. So those are about as accurate as you can get, probably, I imagine, since they launch spacecraft to the planets. They know what they're doing. So this is a good reference if you ever have a question about whether ExploreStars has the correct information. You can go here to ephemeris.com.
Ron said, only good on planet Earth. I told him by the time we get to ExploreStars 20, we'll include a planet selector depending on which planet you happen to live on. So
Right, exactly. And yeah, the alignment routines will be different. The tracking
will
rates will
that?
be different.
Oh yeah.
You know, it'll
Which
be
base
tough.
station you're on, that kind of thing. So
That's right. All right, so what else? Let's see. So that's that question, the
okay.
ephemeris check. So that's how accurate the ephemeris is in ExploreStars. It should very easily get you into a medium power eyepiece as long as you've done the alignment correct on the stars.
Oh yeah.
So one of the things that so what I told Rodrigo in an email was that it's more than likely his customers are misidentifying the stars that they're aligning to, and so when they go to align and they center the star, it may not be the exact star that that the system thinks that you're on. So what you'll see is that you'll align to a different star, and it'll take it. It'll say, okay, I'll create a model based on this position for these alignment stars. But then when it goes to slew to an object, it will be off. And it can be off quite a bit, a few degrees. So that's the issue. The one way to look at that is to look at the alignment data on ExploreStars. Let me see if I can bring that up real quick. I'm not going to be connected to a mount, but I should be able to show you what the alignment data is on the ExploreStars.
Okay. Please wait.
Yeah, that's going to say please wait. So let me go to the preferences, settings. This is the Windows version, but you'll have a similar setting
Okay.
that's called the show alignment data. All right.
Right.
So when you show the alignment data, when there's an actual alignment, you'll see these parameters. They won't be all zeros. The closer you are to a physical alignment, these are nine. There's 9 values. It'll go. These values will be close to 1, then close to 0, close to 0, close to 0, then 1, then 0, 0, 0, and then 1. So when it's a perfect physical alignment, if you were to align on the stars, it would be 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. That's what you'll see, and then you'll see deviations from that when you're further away from a good physical alignment. But if you've got it set to north, fairly closely to north, and your altitude's close, then that's what you'll see. These values will be close to either 0 or 1. Now, if you're way off, then, like if you have 0.3 or minus 1.2 or something like that, 1.4, then definitely the alignment is not going to be close, and you may have problems. So,
Right.
all right. Any questions? Any more questions about that?
I don't see any more questions about that.
O-
Um,
Okay.
they said Apollo 16 had a telescope on the moon.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they did not have a PMC-8 system, which would have worked up there, but
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
slight programming modifications from Jerry Hubble. But
Right.
yeah, it's coming up.
I.
It's coming up. They're going to need a good amateur scope up there.
Yeah.
Oh well, Ron's
I.
sharing the link for the Apollo 16 telescope. That would have been. I just can't imagine how awesome that would be to have like a nice refractor, 6-inch refractor set up on the moon, looking back at Earth. You could
Oh
probably,
yeah.
oh, you could probably see details, lots of details. I would imagine.
Oh
And the
yeah.
stars would all be pinpoints. You'd be splitting stars down to nothing.
I've got this image up here now. This is taken by Dave Cherry.
This is Dave Cherry. Awesome.
Yep.
Incredible.
The the bubble. And I'm going to bring up another sheet. He's got an Exos 2, and I'll look at what his information is for his equipment here in a
Yep.
minute. But his auto guiding was down to zero point 0.5 arc seconds
Holy
RMS. zero
smokes.
point 0.5 arc seconds RMS, and
That's
that shows you the potential of these mounts.
that's crazy.
And I congratulated him on his skill using the mount. And he came back and said, "That's very kind of you to say, Jerry, but the mount really is doing most of the work." So, uh, so he was only got an hour and a half on this image. So let me go down and show you the. This is what he said here. Um, he just started mimicking the bubble nebula. Guiding in PhD is below zero point 0.5 RMS, 0.44 arc seconds RMS. That's what he got.
Hmm.
And he's got an 8-inch 200. I don't know what PDS is. That a brand?
Uh,
That's a model number for his maybe it's a reflecting telescope,
when it
maybe a Newtonian. It says the 8-inch 200 PDS.
8-inch,
Thou
200 PDS. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's probably some model number for a reflector, maybe a Newtonian.
Photo.
It's 1,000 millimeter focal length
I see.
scope.
Nice.
Uh,
Like an F5.
yeah, it sounds like it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so
We
you
have
can't
a
really see the
nice
details here.
international group watching us today, so it's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
So he's got, oh, it's a Skywatcher telescope, 200 PDS.
200 PDS. Okay.
He's got an ASI 294 cooled camera, an Altair guide camera, 50 millimeter guide scope. And so the Exos 2 does a great job, especially with a skilled practitioner like Dave Cherry.
We we had somebody trying to get people to buy Bitcoin on our stream here. I did block him, but
Oh, really?
yeah, I recommend everybody out there, gets Bitcoin and
Yeah, I got into that a little while it was
yeah,
on its way up. I was able to make a little bit of money.
yeah. I think
And
I do believe it's possible, but
you got it.
if you
It's a
have to
lot.
bomb somebody's live stream to invite people to get Bitcoin, I'd say buyer beware. And it was weird too how he started. He says, replying to Explore Scientific, blah, 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 like he's answering a question of mine. No, I didn't ask a question about that. So, anyhow, yeah, when I get to see them, I get to block them. So, um, okay, so we are going to talk a little bit about Virtual Star Party 3. And Virtual Star Party 3 happens tomorrow, and we're going to do things a little bit different than what we've done in the past. So tomorrow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give we're going to have Kent Martz on a separate Zoom account away from the broadcast, okay, to invite anyone who wants to be in the virtual star party, okay. Kent will see what their setup is like, whether or not their lighting is good enough, their audio is good enough, their videos, their internet connection is fast enough, okay, to be part of this, because you need a good solid internet connection to do
Yeah,
it,
that's
okay.
very important. Yep.
And they need to bring their game on, okay. Whether they're imaging, um, they have a poem, they have art, whatever it is, okay. It needs to be, you need to bring your game on. And so we're going to give as many guests as possible for the virtual Star Party 3, 5-minute spot on the air with our invited guest. And so we have, of course, David Levy's going to be on there. We have our group that I will send out invites to this afternoon. They'll confirm whether or not they're going to be on the show tomorrow night. And certainly they're there to comment and show what they're doing and to kind of set the tone for the show. But we want to give other people a chance at bat here to be part of the virtual star party and to join in on the fun. So that's happening. We have also been invited to stream on the Clear Skies network, and so on Twitch. And so Dustin Gibson is helping me with that. If we get it all set up today, we will actually try it for the first time tomorrow and be on Clear Skies network as well as the other channels that we're on. So.
That's
There'll
cool.
be a
That's a
quick
big
period.
audience. That's a big
What's that?
audience, isn't it? That's a
They
bigger
have, they have
audience,
a
isn't it?
big audience. They really do. So it's a real honor to be invited onto Clear Skies Network. So, I was watching over the weekend and saw Neil deGrasse Tyson with Abigail Bolenbach and, a whole collection of musicians and artists and astronomers. And, it was really, really a cool show on Saturday. So, anyways, that's all I have to say about that. So look for my announcement about how to join on the next show. We'll give you a Zoom, a Zoom credential and stuff like that. If you just want to show us what you do, I think that'd be really, really cool. And if you haven't seen the Star Party shows yet, look for Virtual Star Party on YouTube. We have started a playlist there, so you can watch one of them. And I'll send out a direct email piece for people that might want to join, and we'll make a posting on Facebook as well for people who'd like to join as well. So that's cool. Dave Ing says, joining late, dealing with technical issues with 3 kids, first day back at school, remote.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yikes. Yeah. So, anyhow, and what else? How
Did we
about
bring
stuff in
up?
the news? What do we have in the
Oh,
news,
that's
Jerry?
right. That's right. So let me. I'm just going to read a story, a couple of paragraphs here. So Hubble finds that Betelgeuse's mysterious dimming is due to a traumatic outburst. Observations by NASA's Hubble Space Telescope are showing that the unexpected dimming of the supergiant star Betelgeuse was most likely caused by an immense amount of hot material ejected into space, forming a dust cloud that blocked starlight coming from Betelgeuse's surface.
Fascinating.
Hubble researchers suggest that the dust cloud formed when superhot plasma unleashed from an upwelling of a large convection cell on the star's surface passed through the hot atmosphere to the colder outer layers, where it cooled and formed dust grains. That's cool.
That is cool.
The resulting dust cloud blocked light from about a quarter of the star's surface beginning in late 2019. By April 2020, the star returned to normal brightness.
Great.
That's cool. So Hubble detected this stuff long before. Yeah. I got a picture to show here. Looks like
I love that
artist
applause. It's
depiction,
good.
an artist depiction of what it is.
Okay.
Let me share my screen one more time.
All right.
So that's it. Looks like you know what it looks like to me.
It's like
It
boiling
looks
curd.
like a cauldron. Yeah, but it also looks like when the Death Star blew up.
Oh yeah. Maybe that's what really happened.
Maybe that's what happened. They blew up the Death Star.
Maybe it was a Death Star all along, and we just thought,
Hmm.
oh yeah. We don't. There's a lot we don't know, but we can
That's
assume that
right.
it was a Death Star, I guess. So.
Right.
Hmm.
So
Very
that's
cool.
cool.
Yeah. Very cool.
So Betelgeuse, Hubble actually detected it. According to the story, Hubble detected it a few months before it was visibly or visual to everybody with the telescope and dimming it before the visible dimming to your naked eye. Hubble detected it a few months beforehand, which is kind of interesting. And it was I don't remember hearing anything about Hubble seeing this thing going on, but maybe they did announce it. I don't know.
Hmm. Interesting.
And of course, those out there that are listening that are maybe new to the channel that don't know me, my last name is Hubble, but I'm not talking about myself when I say
Oh
I
no,
observed
no, no. He's
Betelgeuse.
not talking about himself.
I'm talking about
You
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 know
were
when
you
I
were looking at Beetlejuice, weren't you? I mean,
yeah say it
right?
says Hubble when I say
You could
Hubble
just,
uncovers
yeah, Jerry
right.
Hubble. Don't say Hubble Space Telescope. Say Jerry Hubble. Just
Yeah,
replace it with that. And
right, exactly.
yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. Jerry has just this incredible connection. I think it's awesome that he's into astronomy as much as he is. Uh, I knew when I was first starting at my very first start, my first astronomy club. It was called the Oceanside Photo and Telescope Astronomical Society. And this young guy joined, and he said, "Hi, I'm Gus." And I go, "Hi, Gus." He says, "I'm Gus Kepler." And I go, "Great, Gus Kepler." And I did not make the connection at first about Kepler. Okay, so I'm looking at something, a book or something. And I see a woodcut of Kepler, Johannes, or Kepler, and I bring the book out to the next star party, and he is the spitting image of this guy. And he says, "Oh yeah, I'm
Oh yeah.
related." I'm like, "Wow." I mean, he could have made a whole lifetime career playing his famous great 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 grandfather or whatever. So that
Yeah,
was
that's
really cool.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, those genes still
Well,
live on.
we have other famous names like Jack Newton.
It's true. I don't think he's related to Isaac though.
No, well,
Never know.
I don't know how big the family name is. I know the Hubble family name is not very big, but
The
the
Newton family, I'm
Newton family
pretty
may
big.
be bigger.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, I wanted to, since since the pandemic broke out, with all the you know the problems that we've run into with this, all the challenges we've had, not being able to gather together as we like to as astronomers. It did make or gather together. Period. It's I know that all of us have been affected by this in so many different ways. But the uh, what has happened for any kind of outdoor hobby or activity where gear is to be sold, like let's just take kayaks for example, bicycles, um, tents, camping gear, trampolines, all that stuff. I mean, it is so hard to find it right now, and telescopes have become scarce as well. Um, and so I thought, and if you look at products from all the major suppliers right now, you'll find out that they are all getting pretty low on inventory. and it's been because there's been a huge spike increase in wanting to buy products. And we've had we had a great comet, so there's been a lot of demand. So I thought it would probably be useful to kind of show some of the products that we do have in stock, if in fact you're looking for telescopes and eyepieces and stuff. And I'll start off with this is the Explore Scientific AR series. And the AR series, this is an AR 102 4-inch, and our AR series are all f6.5 airspace doublets. Now, if you follow our star parties and some of our shows, you'll learn that these telescopes are also excellent astrographic tools. Okay, so long as you're imaging in monochromatic light, like you're doing narrowband imaging, for example. Jason Genzel did, wow, I mean, just a knockout image with his AR 152. He's done lots of solar work with it. So if you want to do H alpha work, white light, solar, any kind of solar work, these AR telescopes are fantastic. I know he uses a Daystar Quark on his. And if you like to do narrowband imaging from your backyard in suburbia, again, these do an amazing job. So you can look up Jason Genzel, or if you happen to be in Instagram, look at the vast reaches, and you can see some narrowband imaging with that. A lot of that is with the AR 152. These are airspace doublets. They cost vastly less than an apochromatic telescope. And they have a nice 2-speed focuser on it. They come with an 8x50 finder. Of course, our signature handle grip for carrying the telescope, that has the slot for adding mounting rings, or you could add a 35 millimeter or a digital SLR type of camera. They come with like a Vixen style dovetail plate, but you could replace it with a D plate from Osmandy if you want. And a spectacular deal. The entire line's under $1,000 for a tube assembly. So tomorrow I will, as we go along with our shows, I will point out stuff that you can get. That's a good deal. So anyhow, I think that's our show today. Let's see if we have any more questions. Did you have any more that you wanted to cover, Jerry?
No, the forum's been somewhat quiet over the last week or so. We did add in the last 3 days we've added 6 more users on the forum, so we're still growing. We're up to 524 members since we passed our 500 mark. We're 25 members on, and it's only been in a couple weeks.
We'll have to have a special door prize for the 550th member or something.
Okay.
And we didn't have a question of the day today, but tomorrow we will. And I'm going to go ahead and show you what the prize is. And now this is a special gift that we gave out to VIPs that came to Explore Scientific's 10th anniversary party. And
yeah, I got one of those.
You got one of those, right?
Yep, I did.
Yeah, and
That's awesome.
This is all Explore Scientific stuff. So there's an Explore Scientific USB. There is a mini Bluetooth, I think it's a Bluetooth speaker, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, my son loves that thing.
Yeah, and then
yeah.
We've got a cigarette lighter adapter with the USB adapter thing on it. And
I don't think they call them a cigarette lighter adapter anymore. I think they call them, in the cars, they're just 12-volt adapters now.
I guess if you're in California or Oregon, it's a joint smoking adapter or something.
Cars don't include cigarette.
Smoke dope and drive, guys. That
it's funny that they don't include cigarette lighters anymore in cars like they used to.
Well, people don't smoke like they used to. Thank God.
Mm-hmm. They just burn.
Fires.
They don't smoke. They just burn.
And then this is a rechargeable, battery here for charging up your phone. So that's going to be the.
That's got to be at least
tomorrow. That's kind of cool.
It's got to be a $50 value.
We only have 2 of them left, so it's very, very unusual, very unique, and so we'll think up of a great question to ask you. So, Anyways, let's see. So we're really looking forward to having you join us for the Star Party tomorrow. It's going to kick off at, I think it's at 7:30, 7:30 Central, or 7:30 Pacific, which would be, I'm sorry, it's going to be 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific, and 10 o'clock your time, Jerry, on the East Coast.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
just like last time.
That's right. We get together a half an hour before. That's what you're thinking about.
Yeah. And it's throwing me off.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for those of you that would like to be on the show or be in the virtual star party, it's more than a show. It's actually a real star party. Um, we'd love to have you. We will put out the Zoom credentials so that you can do a sound check and video check with Kent Martz. And if he gives the green light, then he'll give you the credentials to log into the broadcast part of this, and we'll invite you in and give you your 5 minutes of fame. So I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I hope that you're going to join us. And I think that's it.
Yep.
Yep. So keep looking up, guys, as Jack Horkheimer would always say, and we will see you tomorrow.